Hello, welcome back to Fist Entertainment. Alright, try to get back to my normal voice again. Welcome to the 62-day event known as Horrorfest for 2020. And what I'm doing this year is I'm doing studio events, and we're starting out with what's known as the Screen Gems event. And I'm doing the Screen Gems event not by order of chapters of franchises, but by year release. That way it keeps it interesting, and you have a little bit of a variety. So the first one we're talking about is 2002's Resident Evil. Now, what's funny about watching these is that Sony's releasing a 4K box set, exclusive 4K box set with steelbooks of all of the Resident Evil films in November, but it is September right now, and we cannot hold off on our event. Got other things to do in November. So the regular Blu-rays will do, but honestly, the Resident Evil films I think are best watched in their original Blu-ray format, especially Afterlife and Retribution in 3D. Those are the only way. That's the only way to watch those two films. So, Resident Evil. Well, I gotta say, I've always liked this movie. It's definitely different from all the other Resident Evil films. All the other Resident Evil films are much more of sort of like a sci-fi action-adventure series, while Resident Evil, this one, is more of a scary movie. And I think I kind of like that aspect of this one being a creepy crawler, kind of a scary movie. Unlike all the other films that are more like action movies and don't scare you at all, this one actually does have scary elements in it. And if I still do sound like Agent Smith, I'm sorry. It's kind of hard to get that out of me once I've done it once. As you've already noticed in other character interactions like Pinhead, for example, a couple of years back. Took me a while to get that voice gone. Resident Evil stars Mila Jovovich, still relatively fresh in her career. She only was known for Luc Besson's Messenger, the story of Joan Arc, as well as Luc Besson's Fifth Element. And she obviously was in Dazed and Confused. That's what she was known for at the time. So that she was still relatively fresh and new when she made this. This film made her star, obviously. What I like about this movie is the cinematography of the film. It knows how to kind of look like a late and mid 1990s digital looking movie, while having a film like look in certain areas. I say it's definitely very clean and polished, maybe a little too clean and a little too polished at times. That's why, because this film's been remastered so many times, and they haven't really done a native remastering of the film. Who knows, maybe that will happen with these 4K releases. When I get those, I will definitely know. I probably will not be getting all of them. But at the same rate, though, I'm a collector. I may keep the original Blu-rays, but also had the 4K ones just so I can go ahead and see if they did put a little bit of love into the movies. And let's go on to the plot of the film now. Doesn't tell you what time this film takes place in, so I would say in the very near future. You have a corporation known as the Umbrella Corporation, and they have controversies and conspiracy theories about what they really are doing, and they're the biggest consumer of revenue products for all sorts of things: hygiene products, technology, and military weaponry and advancement biological stuff. And there's this serum known as the T-virus serum that was originally designed as a military application to make super soldiers. And someone tries to steal it, successfully, I might add, and they drop, in order to cover the tracks, they drop a vial of this, contaminating the factory in which it was being created, which is known as the Hive, dislocated deep under a capital city known as Raccoon City. And it kills everybody. And the ones that didn't kill, actually, technically, the AI, the artificial intelligence known as the Red Queen, which is a basically a AI computer that controls the factory, saw humanity and people within the facility is a threat to the outside world due to being exposed to the T-virus. So, the AI killed everybody. Some in certain ways, most of them with a nerve gas agent. And because they were affected with the T-virus, they get reanimated back to life as flesh-eating zombies. But weirdly enough, two mysterious individuals were not affected, and they were far away from the spread of the released virus. A woman named Alice and a stranger guy that we never really did get his name. Alice, of course, is played by Mila Jovovich. And they get discovered by a military convoy. Led by, I forget the character's name, but the actor who plays I guess, commander in charge. It's played by Colin Salmon, who I've seen in James Bond movies, as well as Punisher Warzone. In fact, if there was a black actor that I wouldn't mind seeing playing James Bond, that's this guy. Despite the fact that he's been in the Bond films, it would make sense to have him. He's far better of a choice than Idris Elba any day of the week. And of course, Rochelle Rodriguez is one of his soldiers as well. The soldiers get picked off as well as our commanding officer by traps set by the AI, because he wanted to turn the facility back on and figure out what happened to everybody. And then it becomes a survival game of them getting out of the Hive and find a way to, destroy the Hive at the same time. Which is a typical, age-old story with films like this. And of course, they all die. Literally all of them. And, you also have this, this new security guard. I forget the name of this character. Matt, yeah. The character of Matt, played by Eric Morpheus, I think is how you pronounce his name. He saw in The Crow's Salvation. And what he really is actually a humanitarian activist that wants to destroy the Umbrella Corporation because of their corruptness. And in the end, everybody dies except for Alice and Matt. And they are taken in custody by the Umbrella Corporation at the end of the film. And we are left with Alice being in scraps, and they did something to her. We don't know what until next film. But they did something to her body. Matt's nowhere to be seen, and everybody in the hospital or wherever she is have all been killed by zombies, and the apocalypse has begun. Outside is the nation, and so she gets a shotgun, and then we see her looking at something, we don't know what it is, and then she just humps the shotgun, and then we see zombies in the background. And that movie ends basically like that. Alright, well, quality. Resident Evil was shot in 1.85.1, which means we'll have teeny weeny borders on top and bottom on a projector, and it will be completely borderless and barless on a television. It was released from Screen Gems in 2002. It contains a Dolby True HD 5.1 sound. Now, I talked about the video, so we'll just go very quickly on the audio. At times, it does pump in a good punch, but it sounds to me like a pretty generic Dolby True HD 5.1 source. But there are some sequences in the action sequences, especially in the climax of the film, to where it takes real true advantage of all your speakers and gives you a lot more than what you thought you were going to get from a Dolby True HD sound presentation. I would say it's better than, say, a early Warner Brothers Blu-ray with Dolby True HD. But if you go for like a Universal release or a Sony release, or even 20th Fox release that had, Dolby True HD, this is pretty much generic like that. And well, that's all the time we have for this. So I'll see you guys next time for my review of Underworld Unrated. Until then.